Stones discs with shape of flying saucers, found around the world. In various places in the world there are stones with mysterious shapes and even living stones like in Romania, but stones with incredible shapes like spheres or small planets. These spheres can be like seeds or extraterrestrial probes or even cannonballs or satellites fallen from the sky. There are also discs which could be abandoned millstones. According to geologists, these shapes are natural, but the problem is that the Bosnian spheres seem metallic. There are also places with stones in the shape of spheres in Kazakhstan, the Valley of the Planets, but in the Sahara there are also similar valleys in Algeria, Libya, and Egypt. But some stones look like small flying saucers about a meter in diameter like the one found by miners in Russia. UFO hunters discover disk from alien spacecraft that landed on Earth a million years ago. Well, maybe aliens may have landed on Earth a million years ago, according to a group that apparently found debris from a UFO. The remains discovered were in the form of a stone disk 4 meters in diameter, the Russian website Bulnot Volgograd reported. We think it's just a big rock, but it was discovered by groups of ufology enthusiasts, who were on an expedition near Volgograd, Russia. It looks to me like the stone disks I've seen in the NASA photos on Mars look like this rock, which leads me to conclude that this UFO is a military drone, but it was probably damaged during Mars attack and it was possibly deflected, crashing into Earth, wrote Scott Waring of UFO Sightings Daily. The disk, which was one of several believed to have been found in the area, is significant because it may contain metal tungsten, wolfram, which is used in military technology and could apparently be present in a UFO, for shielding and withstand high temperatures. Ufologists have also claimed that the find could be around a million years old. Experts will be able to examine the disk at the Svirnovsky Museum. Do these intriguing images show a UFO that fell to planet Earth from outer space thousands of years ago, sinking deep into the ground? The strange flying saucer-shaped object was unearthed during excavation work by a coal mining company in the Kuznetsk Basin in Siberia, Russia. Archaeologists have been called in to examine the engine, which miners believe is a man-made object, describing it as a mystery. However, ufologists are convinced that it fell from space. The truth is out there, or is it? The object is in the shape of a saucer. Image, Sen. The unusual object is almost perfectly circular, with a diameter of around 1.2 meters and weighing around 200 kilograms. Excavator driver Boris Glazkov, 40, who found the object, said, "I have to say it wasn't hard to see because it was really distinctive and big. I have never seen anything like this object, which is obviously man-made, here in the middle of nowhere. It's a real mystery." Flying saucer? Heavy object. The object weighs around 200 kilograms. His colleague, Arthur Przniakov, 38, said, "There were actually two similar objects, but the first broke while being pulled out of the ground by the bucket of the digger. We thought we saw something but were surprised because it broke into pieces, but when the second one appeared we stopped work and carefully dug it out of the ground." Mining company Kuzbassrazrezugol, which owns the object, said it was dug out of the ground at a depth of about 40 meters. Given that it was buried so deep underground, it could be older than mammoth bones, which were discovered in the area at a depth of 25 meters. Sahara flying saucers? In the Sahara also there are stones that look like flying saucers unless they are abandoned stone millstones. There are also spheres in the desert in Libya and sometimes in Egypt and Algeria. In Kazakhstan there is the Valley of Planets, a strange valley with stones in the shape of spheres or flying saucers. Flying saucers from Kazakhstan? In Romania there would also be strange stones that can reproduce, grow in contact with water and even move like certain living beings that look like pumpkins or flying saucers or spheres or tree trunks. So are they minerals, animals, or plants or extraterrestrial craft? Nobody knows. The living stones are the success of the village of Costesti, in Romania. In contact with water, the rocks grow and proliferate, without the help of men. Even stranger, even when cut, these stones sooner or later end up resuming their original shape in contact with water. Let's just say that these non-standard stones, sometimes called trovants by specialists, hold the attention and arouse astonishment even for informed geologists. These trovants, whose German term means cemented sand, would be formed largely of sand. They are also made up of spherical rings, like those found in tree trunks. In the center, we would indeed find the center of a stone surrounded by sand, a bit like a stone in the Sahara, the sand rose. The sand rose is an evaporitic rock formed by the lenticular crystallization of soluble minerals, and whose arrangement is reminiscent of the petals of a rose. The formation of sand roses comes from the evaporation of infiltrated water. These crystallizations of physico-chemical origin are very often encountered in soft ground, sand, clay, mainly in deserts. The main mineral involved in this process is gypsum, but sand roses can also be composed of other minerals, such as barite. These microforms of accumulation can sometimes reach very large dimensions and can exceed 100 kilograms. From a germ or singular point, gypsum crystals grow in all directions. The development of these crystals separates the surrounding medium. In sands close to a water table close to the surface of the ground and impregnated with water rich in sulfates and carbonates, salinitous waters, sand roses can develop. As a result of evaporation, the ionic concentration of the aquifer increases, allowing gypsum crystals to grow in the water-soaked sediment. It is therefore at the top of the aquifer, buried under a few meters or tens of meters, that the process takes place. Gypsum being an evaporite, a hot climate favors its formation. Several disc-shaped stones found in the Shangrao region, Jiangxi province in China. Scientists say the discs may be over 300 million years old. The stones were found by a construction worker. He was working on a new highway. He was really shocked after he saw the UFO stones. He stated that he never saw anything like this. The similarity between these stones and UFO is very big. Disc-shaped stones found on rocky landslides hitherto little frequented by man. From time to time find workers preparing the ground for the local road. The diameter of the disc is more than 1.5 m, a thickness of 20 to 60 centimeters. Their weight is close to 1 ton. The Shangrao Coal Bureau engineer, H.J. Adams, suggested that the stones can be dated to the Paleolithic era between Permian and Carboniferous, and so on and so forth. 300 million years. What may surprise is the fact that the stones were laid out horizontally, and if not for the fact that their age is estimated at nearly 300 million years, one could assume that they were created by man. Found on top of the stones have a very hard shell. In the vicinity of a lack of stones, even with a similar shape. The flying saucer stones were found in a perfect horizontal alignment. The space between stones was exactly 1.6 meters. Nobody knows why the UFO stones were equally distributed. Scientists examined the UFO stones and concluded that the rock is different than the rocks from the surrounding mountains. Some skeptics say that UFO stones are just normal stones that were polished by wind and water erosion, while some scientists said that those stones may be fossilized little UFO drones that once belonged to an alien mothership.